shelf where all the broken things were piled. The stories told in whispers and in scars. Brought you here beneath these waiting stars. Not for a fix or just to soothe the ache, but for the chance that something new could break. So let the silence hold you like a seam where every thread of hope begins to gleam. This is the in-between. Welcome to the butterfly room, where healing's not an end, it is a tune. You learn to hum in gentle afternoons. Transformation blooms from a cocoon of questions you'll be led to see the colors waiting in the thread. Welcome to the butterfly room. We'll hold the lens up to the hidden part, the dormant art that's beating in your heart. We'll map the change, the subtle, steady turn, the lessons that the aftermath can learn. Not to erase the lines that make your man, but to unfold the wings and cross the gap and watch the old shell fragile drift away, making space for the new light of day. In this alchemical space, welcome to the butterfly room, where healing's not invented.
That's right. We've got the butterfly room where we've got all kinds of amazing things going on and amazing conversations. And today will be no different. We're going to have an amazing class. And all along those lines, so I'm going to bring in Miss Toya. And I'm still working on getting in Madam Butterfly's theme as well. But I'll bring in Miss Toya and have her do her thing. And then hopefully either at the beginning or the end, we'll get Madam Butterfly and her theme song going as well. But I'm going to step aside. Y'all have got a lesson, but I will be back and all along those lines. But it's a great show. And of course, folks learned a lot here on this particular show.
Thank you, Mark, for the warm welcome. As you know, we are ecstatic to have Madam Butterfly here again to speak with us today. You know, the first lesson that she had was Jade. And, you know, as an educator and also having a psych minor and working in early childhood education, she has a lot to offer to this platform. And one of the things that we do speak about in the Butterfly Room is healing. And that's basically what this is. Everyone here has had an opportunity to live, you know, based on what decade you're in your life. But the Butterfly Room is a room for healing, breakthrough, and morphing into who you were always meant to be. True healing. And as a mental health professional and starting my journey as a clinician and working in different capacities in the social science field, I wanted to give back. As you know, that right now, what we're going through in the world is a lot of changes, and the world that we once knew, it does not look the same. And mental health is on the rise. And just as a professional, I remember my early part of my career working in the group homes, and I would sit and observe people. And then, of course, now in my capacity on a different level, I actually read all of the electronic health records. And what I'm seeing is a lot of stuff. So right now there's a need for this. And one of my loves and part of my career has always worked in social services, mental health, self-help, and all those things. So it's brought me to where I am today. And I just want to give back. So, Mark, you can bring in Madam Butterfly into our show today, Defining Relationships. Hello, my dear.
Hello, how are you?
Yes, defining relationship choices. I tell you, I'm so excited about the topic because I know, you know, what we do when we are sitting brainstorming, we talk about some things that I really appreciate, you know, you taking out the time and to educate us. Because what do you always tell me when we're sitting here, we're chatting and chewing?
Well, first of all, I'm apologizing. I know it's summer and you think you're going to get a break from getting lessons and getting an education, and you know, but you got to have a little summer school. So, okay. First of all, in life we all make mistakes, okay? But my dear, my child, I don't want you to make my mistakes. I want you to go out there and make new ones, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm going to try and tell you my mistakes. And so you go invent new ones because there are always new mistakes to be made. Yeah.
I agree with that.
And
Every
hopefully,
day is a school day.
yeah. So hopefully by my sharing with you, you can see the pitfalls before you step in them and at least maybe be able to sidestep them. And that's one of the things for today. We all want to get into a relationship of some kind. I was thinking about this the other day. Either you want to be in a love relationship or you don't. Or you want to be in a friend relationship. What are they calling it? A
situationship.
Or situationship, or girlmanship, or just whatever.
Yeah, because people have to date according to their capacity. That's really what it is. Because I've been watching A Little Power, and that was something that Kanan said. He said, I can only date to my capacity. And I think if everyone was honest, then that would also help us, but people are not. So I cannot wait for this lesson. Where's Mark at? I know he has some stuff to do. Our producer. Hey, producer.
Anything like that, but I'm here to bring up the lesson. But before I bring up the lesson, well, she did want this song. I thought we'd have a moment of having Madam Butterfly's theme song as well. So this is her theme song. So let's check it out.
Oh.
Wow.
I'm one that listens to the words, and if you listen to the words of that song, it's chanson is sing in French, and papillon is French for butterfly. But if you think of a butterfly, when you see it, it's there for a hot minute and it's gone, and that's basically the lyrics of that song. And she's talking about a romance. Boom, it's there, it's hot in a moment, and it's gone. And that's what happens in so many of our relationships. And you know what? So many times we don't even know why. And that's what we're talking about tonight.
Okay.
Do we know why we're there when we step in or step out to that relationship? Do we know what we're doing? I mean, we meet someone and we feel something, and that's good. But okay, the next step, where's it going? And why is it going in that direction? And is it going in the direction that we really want it to go in, or we need it to go in? And that's the issue. You got to make up the decision. Why are we here, the two of us? Am I here to heal this person, and you need to really think about it in that capacity. We meet someone, and you first of all, you got to decide where you are in the relationship and what you need from another person when you're out there looking. Are you just out there? Sometimes we need to be healed, and it's okay. As women, we get
We're
ourselves
fixers
labeled.
sometimes. I'm a fixer. I know that. I've been told I'm a fixer. So
And that fixer, healer, they're saying you get into that, and some of us have been trained to be fixers, and not knowing that we are the ones that need to be fixed and or healed. We're the ones, we're giving so much love because that's what we've been taught to. If we give, it's gonna come back. Not always.
Yeah, but you don't learn sometime until the wisdom sets in.
Until
That's
it's
what I
gone.
think. Yeah.
It's all taken from you, and you're giving it thinking it's going to come back. No, honey, you've been in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong person.
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
The other one is that are you the prize? There have been some. There's some women who are some women. The most obvious one is someone that are really beautiful, and they attract men people like honey, and they are the quote unquote trophies, and they get everything at their feet, whatever. But it's transient. It's not real. They're what do we call it now? Eye candy. They
Oh yeah,
just
I've been in situations like that. Yes, and you get all the gets and glams. And, that's how a lot of nice restaurants, and that's it.
But I mean, and it could go on for a substantial amount of time.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, the person is gone, and then you look down the road, maybe even a short time, and here you go. They are sincerely in love and marrying or hooking up seriously with someone else, and someone else isn't attractive. There is, you find yourself like, well, what does he see in her?
Because sometimes they've been there the whole time, but as you know, men in my family, there may be two storylines going on, but we'll never know.
And it doesn't even have to be that. It's just that they were drawn to this woman because of beauty, attraction, or whatever it is. But the thing is, and then there's another kind of trophy in that too. They're the kind of trophy where they've been with that person before, and there's a lot
familiarity.
I like to call it a boomerang. There, and we do it. We as women do it as well.
Oh my goodness, yes, I've been through.
We do it as women as well. Like we'll go back to that person because they're easy and they're comfortable.
Known to you.
Known to you. They won't hurt me, or they're fun, or I can bide my time here until someone else comes along.
And that's when the funny stuff comes. When people come sit on the couch and they'll tell me, "Oh my God, I was there and I saw him." You see all those stories. Yes.
The whole thing is
the woman has had a psychotic break and they stabbed the man and hurt the man. And I have been on the other side. And why are you here? I'm here because I was arrested for assault and I'm on probation, and they think I have a substance abuse problem. Yeah.
Hey, Madam Butterfly and Toya, if you'll tell me when to go to the next slide, because I know there are 4 slides. Let me know that just by telling me next slide or whatever like that.
Sure.
But the question that I have for you really quickly is, I also know, because I've mentioned it on a couple of shows, including Toya's show in the past, and definitely on shows like even Dr. Diamond's show, sometimes it's not even the trophy for the individual, whether it's the man or the woman and everything like that, because I know that I have been involved in relationships where it's like you are the trophy for the organization and everything like that. Because then organizations I talk about is like churches and stuff like that. Because I know that I've been into churches and the women were very active in the church, and the church members were automatically trying to predict that you were going to be that person's spouse and that you were going to be heavily involved in the church. You hadn't even decided that you liked the person.
Arranged marriages. That's what that sounds like.
Yeah. Oh, but you're a trophy in that sense, Oh well, they just look wonderful together. Don't you should almost matchmaking.
Yes, I've been in situations like that, and
Almost
some of my
matchmaking.
referrals, I stopped taking referrals. My
Right.
cousin was referring.
Referrals. That's
This
a good
person's
one.
a nice guy. I don't do referrals. I love organic meetings. I'd rather if you want me to meet someone, just put me and that individual in the same environment and see what happens. That's it.
Mhm.
That's what I prefer. I'm a cheers.
My former pastor, she said to me, she said, you would make a great preacher's wife. And I said, I would. She listed all my characteristics. She said, you would do that, and you're involved in that. I'm like, uh-huh. And I said, I don't know if I could handle the church women going after my husband, because that's another characteristic that you have in a you used to be able to say Black Baptist church, but it's universal now.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's totally universal and everything like that. And that's kind of what I was referring to. Because I know when I went to this particular church, they were ready to make me a deacon and a prophet, and we're talking about all these different things that we were going to be doing. And I'm going like, I haven't even decided whether I like the woman, and y'all are trying to make me love the church. We got to get.
I don't know, Mark. They
before
always
we can
trying
move
to
the
marry
next
us off to somebody. I'm sorry. I want a choice. I am not living. My name is not Sealy. Okay.
But the thing is, saying in the second part of this, it's like if we don't know, the first thing is that we need to know, we need to recognize within ourselves where we are and what we want. I will share with you that my husband, I made a revelation in my own life that I wasn't going to meet my marriage partner. And I said to God, I said, well, looks like it's going to be me and my dog and my mama.
Yep, that's where I'm at.
And when I accepted that position, I lost my dog.
Don't say that. I know my baby's older, but that's my four-legged daughter and broke best friend.
And I lost my dog on a Wednesday, and I got another dog on the following Tuesday. Yes. So that
he's a brat. He's a brat too.
Yeah, that affirmation. Well, the first one was a brat too. That affirmation was the whole truth. But then a year later, at the end of that year, I rediscovered my husband, and in our connection and starting to date, I told him, I said, I cannot be your healer. Mm-hmm. I didn't say I'm not going to be your healer. I said I cannot be your healer. He had been in a 30-year marriage, and with that, and his wife had passed away, so he was a widow. So there wasn't that divorce baggage, but I knew that I wasn't. 30 years, there's some healing to be done of the loss. And I said, I cannot. I was trying to tell him what I wanted. So I knew what I wanted, and I knew what I laid it on the line. But all of us don't do that. I have to give it to his daughter, because when she stepped out, she knew she wanted one thing. She wanted a baby. And when she that was her mission, and she did some online dating, and she met a man, and they were dating. I think it was their second date, and she said to him, "Are you fixed?"
Well, speaking of being fixed,
because he was focused. He was focused, and it was interesting because this man had 3 children. Wow. He was divorced and had 3 children, and he said to her, I thought I was done.
Well, I kept my ovaries just in case. I said, because I had health issues. I kept them. And at one point, I've seen women go and have a baby. I said, if I become wealthy, I would get a nanny and have another child. But I wouldn't be able, I'll be older, because I remember Janet Jackson was up there. Tiny T.I.'s wife was up there. I said, but you know what? I have my son. So now I'm focused on grandbabies. So the legacy of my mother could continue. So I'm the only one. It's only my son. So again, there's options. So I left it just in case. I'm like, listen, when someone said I might need to date an older person, I said, I like older guys, but you never know. Whatever's in my
her
steps that are
50s
ordered.
when she had
But
her
the whole
baby.
thing is that I knew, you knew, she knew what she wanted, where she was at the time. And that's the most important part. Know who you are, what you want, and then you can go forth. There are those women, and I know if you, I'm not getting married. I don't want any children. I just
Yes.
want somebody to play with.
And
that's
then
good.
there's some women I've noticed. One girl I know, I'm just gonna say, she had the wedding and then they were divorced within a year. It was annulled because she wanted the wedding. And she said, I told him I didn't want kids, and that really hurt me because I was involved in a conversation. She said he wanted the kids, but I knew I didn't want. I was going to change his mind. I feel that it's disrespectful. If you know that you don't want to have children, it causes a problem because that means that you're not really a partner in this relationship. If you knew you didn't want to have kids, you should have been honest.
That should have been ironed out right at the beginning.
Yes. So that means that was a perform, and I said, we need to stop being performative. If that's not what you want, it's going to eventually seep out. It's going to seep out just a little.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was like continuing a cycle because you want to get into a relationship, whatever it is, however you define it, and have it be successful. That is an issue. If you keep getting into relationships and they're not producing the results that you desire, then something is wrong.
Right.
And that's why we're having this lesson today.
Yeah, we're having and everything like that. Just really quickly, this is for both of you. I know that there are a lot of people, I've been guilty of it as well, that are into fixer-up relationships. They concede the person has got issues, and all along the line, we're trying to fix the person, and sometimes we're not even fixing ourselves, but we're trying to fix the other person, because I have definitely involved in some of those relationships and have even been
Mark,
practitioner
with
of those.
that, let's go to the next slide, because that's a good point. Good. Let's define these healers and trophy people.
Right.
So under that category, what you just said, we could put that person, the fixer-upper.
The fixer-upper, right.
And the healer.
Under healer. We have the person that needs to be healed.
Yep.
We have the person that is delusional, like your friend. I'm going to change his mind.
Right.
That's not.
And
that's
I think,
not the
and
same
also
as,
sometimes what I noticed, like for me, it was a friend. I usually have friends to something else, and that's kind of where you're trusting, and I think that's my problem. Right. I need to define that, because sometimes if a person is somewhat you consider broken and you're just going with the flow, that's where the situationships come, and I end up, because of health problems, that also affected that, because I did a self-inventory, and that's something that I came up with. I said, you know what? To be honest with myself, because I had so many surgeries, I really was healing myself that I just kind of was going with the flow. So I gave myself a pass. But then that time, I'm grateful for the inventory, because it allowed me to take ownership and have some acceptance also.
So that's one of the things we should do, take a self-inventory going into relationships.
Yep.
We got to have that self-inventory. Madam Butterfly, where does the friend zone fit into the conversation of either the healer or the trophy? Because I do know that in my own life,
it could be both. I think
it could be both.
Yep.
But you have to determine and declare. If you decide, you have to declare what you want. If you say, I don't want marriage, I don't want sex, I just want somebody that I can hang out with, go out with, show up to fancy dinners and balls and play.
Had a friend like that. No sex.
Yeah.
Yes.
I had a friend like that too. I knew that I could call. You get invited to weddings, you get invited to formal affairs. I needed a guy that would dress to the nines, could dance, hang out.
And I was a foodie. I used to be a foodie. What?
Yeah. And you know what? Pick me up and bring me back home, was safe, wouldn't hit on me, nothing, and have a ball, and would behave with all sorts of people.
But then there's a question then. So then my question was, and I don't ever want to say this, where is that person on both sides, both teams? And I used to think like that. is this person, and it's okay, just be honest. But a lot of people,
What do you mean on
I
both
think
teams?
that they are bisexual, or now the kids would say fluid. I used to think that, why wouldn't a person want to be with me? Or is it because they have other sides to them they don't want me to know about?
No, you can be friends with somebody
No,
of the
that
opposite
person.
gender.
No,
That
I'm
person-
just saying, no, you're not hearing me. I think that they were unsure what their orientation was. If they want to be with a female or a male.
Why would they have to be like that? They could have the same goals as myself.
Mhm.
They don't want to hook up. They don't want to. They just want that be in that friend zone. They don't want the
But and
commitment.
you know what? And I'm gonna say something. There was a movie. I think it was on. I think Tyler Perry, but it was called Finding Joy. So what happened in Joy? Joy was a fashion designer, and she was dating a white guy. Well, at least she thought she was, and she was invited to, I think, Colorado, and he was saying, "Oh yeah, I want you to be my best woman." You get it? They were around each other. The friends thought something was wrong with him, but he was actually dating someone else, and she was unaware. So Finding Joy, that was a very good movie. So that was something in there where she was oblivious. So for the listeners, go watch that movie, Finding Joy. We're gonna circle back on that. I think everyone watch it. It's a very good movie, because here she was a healer / friend, but however, she looked as though she was a trophy. But she had to find somebody. But I'm not gonna tell the whole movie.
Don't tell the whole movie, but I do know that is a stereotype, that people think that you can't be friends with the opposite gender, or that there's got to be something wrong with you if you are friends like that. And I think there are some people that are, because I've got friends that do this, that will go out with men that are gay, and because they feel that those men won't necessarily be trying to hit on them, and won't be trying to hit on the crowd that they are in and everything. So there are women that do that, but I don't think that that's the case for everybody, because there are men that just like having friendships with women, and there's I've got a couple of friends that are women that I'm friends with, and not all of them do I have sexual interest in. There might be a couple of them that I might have crushes or interest in, but some of them I'm just good friends with them, and I don't know that we'll ever have any of that interest.
Yes.
So that's my point.
I have a god brother that's like that, and everyone said I said no. I said we're very close. He has dated my friends, and I was there. We were, it's a friend zone, and women can have friends like that. And I like that. I could always ask questions, even though he introduced me to some of his friends, and throughout years, high school and college, I dated, went on some dates. But that's part of growing up. But when you become an adult, I think that my concern is, out of respect for you and for myself, just be honest. I think that, like I said, I've counseled folks who came in, they were victims of violence, or they actually were the aggressor. And sometimes those conversations would have led to not being seen. So that's why I like, to talk about this, because now if we're speaking to people, if you're trying to do a self-inventory, now you know what the hot zone is. And sometimes the hot zone, the man can tell you know what, you just upset me. And if you're upset, then that means that, it's like oil and water. But, I don't want to go into that. But that's another topic.
That's another topic. Speaking on another topic, but it is falling into this slide presentation that y'all are doing. I know that I think it was NPR earlier today, and definitely even here on Pod TV, it's come up in conversation. And I'd love to hear your thoughts about it, Butterfly, but yours as well, Toya, since it is your show and everything like that. But there is this notion that a lot of young people, like I said, I've got nephews, the oldest is getting ready to go to college, but they are, for whatever reasons, choosing not to be sexually involved. They're choosing not to be in relationships. Some of it might be because of work and other things, but they are aggressively choosing not to be involved in. Part of it may be because they're afraid of where the world is going, because we all know
yes, these children are very aware
of crazy climate. But I have heard that there is almost like a deep freeze, for lack of a better term, among some of our people. They're not trying to be sexually involved at all. They might be doing some online flirting, but in a lot of cases, they're like, I don't want to have nothing to, and this is both men and women, I want to have anything to do with sex. I'm focused on my life, and I'm focused on what's going on. So I just wanted your take on this, because this seems to be a new trend where a lot of young people are like not really trying to hook up like they used to do back in the day.
So abstinence. No. So you basically abstinence.
Abstinence.
Right.
There's
just real love. Yep.
Yeah, but that's something that's out there as well. And the other thing that I've seen, and this comes back to your slides and the healer and the trophy, is I did have a close friend that was a model. She was a model here in the area, and I think she might have even done some modeling overseas and everything like that. She had 2 kids. It kind of is what you were talking about, Toya, and everything. She had 2 kids. The kids grew up, and got older and became adults. I think one of them became a hip hop vixen, like one of those people you see on the videos and everything. So I think Chandra Patton
Video vixen.
Video vixen. I think she's one of those, and she's been on a number of known videos, and she has her own children now. But I know that when Angela got married, second or third time, I forgot how many times she was married and everything like that, she married a preacher. The preacher didn't have any kids, and I think she basically gave what you could call like almost a semi-ultimatum, which is basically like, if you're gonna give me a kid, you better do it soon. And they did have a kid together, by the way. But
wow! But that works for some people, not everyone.
But I'm saying, but she basically like she was gonna give him an opportunity because he didn't have any kids to get a kid that they shared, and not just the stepkids, but a kid that they shared. And
his, hers, and ours. People want the hours.
He was fortunate enough to have the hours. They did have a beautiful daughter. I think the daughter may be might even be adult by now, but I'm thinking she's like a preteen because they've been married for a while, and 9/11 happened a long time ago. So I think she might even be a young adult by now. But I'm just thinking y'all's thoughts around this, because this was a woman that basically is like that. What did they call it? The empty nester. So she became an empty nester, went into the dating pool, and then she got into the dating pool. She met somebody, fell in love with him, and he wanted a kid, kind of like your friend and everything like that. But unlike your friend, she gave him the opportunity to have the kid. But she also knew that her clock was ticking, because I think that when they got married, she was probably in her late 40s, maybe early, somewhere between late 40s and early 50s.
Wow. So anyone listening, there's hope for you. You just have to find your match. And I thank you, Madam Butterfly, because we always need a tune-up. And when we were sitting here, we were talking about women who are above the age of 40. And, sometimes I get that I'm younger than what I am, but no, I'm older. Okay. My birthday's in a week, the 8th of August. Leo butterflies. But, one of the things that I just had to look at is, if it's for me, it's for me. And again, what is your status or your role? And I know that for me, I didn't really want to see myself as a healer, but I think that, being a trauma survivor and being the eldest child, I think that I was there. If you think about the genogram, usually the eldest child is usually the manager, and I got a text from my niece today, and that's just one of the things she was asking me about her car. So I know that now that my son is older, what is my role going to be? However, sometimes we're a little bit selfless. So here, I think I have been a healer and I have been a trophy, just looking at that. But I feel that right now at this age, what I always thought is that people were going to be honest, and people aren't. So what do you do with that? And as a believer / Christian, you know what I mean? What do you do with that? Because I feel that if someone I'm around, and I think that other women that can, for the listeners, if we're both someone that believes in a higher power, why would you hurt someone? And that's the part that I don't understand, with me, and it makes people scared to love these days. Why should I go and date someone and they're not going to be honest? If I'm the healer, let me know. You know what? Right now, I really like the way you talk. You're very influential. Trophy, you know what? You bad as I don't know what, but be honest. And I just know that I have had family members who were hurt after situations like this, and sometimes your family of origin dictates how you respond to things. But I appreciate your candor, Madam Butterfly, by telling us you don't want us to make those mistakes. So what else do you have for us on this?
I got another one, but under a trophy really quickly, Madam Butterfly. What about status queens? Because there are people that are not a trophy, but they want like the person's car, their house. In the case,
what did he say?
In the case of myself,
status queens.
Oh, thank you.
Known and everything like that, but mom and dad are known, but mom even more so because she was.
They used to call them gold diggers,
stuff like that. So it's not personal gold digger, because the gold digger is going after your money. I'm talking about people that are going after the status, whatever the family.
Okay, so then that's a new category. And is that just
that's what I call status queen?
You're in North Kakalaki. Is that a North Kakalaki thing?
No, that's around the country. There are people in.
That's around the country.
I'm messing with you because I never really a status queen.
But if I'm hearing you correctly, they don't necessarily. It could be them, or it could be what they're going after as well. They could be whatever it is. They drip in the status.
Right.
They don't necessarily know what it is.
But I thought when you get you're older, you don't go after those things. I guess I'm just naive. I thought that, when you get to a certain age, you stop all that behavior. No,
it depends on your environment. I've laughed because I have a retail background, and my retail background, I'm old. I was I was carrying Dior bags before anybody knew what Dior bags. I had Dior. I could tell you a story. I worked for the company was named Bamberger's at the time, and it's no
Yes,
longer
I
named
remember
Bamberger.
Bamberger's. My auntie had a credit card in there.
Well, that's because you're in New Jersey. But I worked for them, and one night I left, and I put my Dior bag on the top of my car to put things in my car, and then I drove off, and the bag was on the car. Well, I got everything back, but my Dior bag. But I
Wait a minute. They gave you a Ziploc with all the internal, and they didn't give you your bag back.
and they put the stuff in down, and they got back to me, right? So, but.
Wow.
But I look back on it now and I laugh because I didn't mind because I had another one, and I said, well, somebody who knew what the bag was, but there were people who were around me who really didn't know what it was. I had to educate a number of people. I laugh at people now who talk about Coach bags, and I'm like, you couldn't catch me with a Coach bag, but for some people that's status. You have to know what things are. I remember walking into a place and I have a Fendi bag and Fendi shoes, and someone looked at me like I was
mom bought me
crazy.
a Fendi watch when I graduated, and I didn't understand, and I still had this Fendi watch. My first Gucci used in 10th grade was hers. So you understand, she loved Anya. Remember Anya?
Mm-hmm.
She had
yes,
and
some people, like you said, they wear the status because they hear the name. But I could drop names now and people wouldn't know who I was talking about. But their status.
And I didn't know anything. I was just a kid. But I went to Catholic school, so I guess that's why I fit right in.
I said to someone, my husband was adamant about going to Italy, and he's still adamant about going to Paris, but I'm like, I'm not that big about Paris. But I wanted to go to Italy, and he says, why? I said, I want to do two things. I wanted to there was something I wanted to get
the lock. Remember the lock on the bridge? The lock on the bridge.
Well, that, but I wasn't.
And the Eiffel Tower.
That's Paris. That's Paris. Italy. This is what I wanted to do in Italy. I wanted to walk into
Italy. Okay, I'm here. Listen.
I wanted to go to Florence. I wanted to walk into a glove store, and I wanted to put my hands on the counter and have them give me gloves the right size. And that's the way you do it in Italy. Yeah.
Okay, the right size. So can you just educate the listeners to that? Because I know about gloves. So explain to me what is the
well, no one wears gloves anymore. But in Italy, the best thing to have a pair of fine leather gloves. They're hand sewn. They're made out of kid leather. Sometimes they're lined, they're unlined, they're lined with silk, they're lined with fur. I mean, it is just exquisite. I'm sorry.
Well, thank you. And I was just going off the top of my head of places that I want to go. The lovers capital.
I ended up buying. Usually here, when you buy a pair of leather gloves, you buy black, brown, or beige. Usually black or brown. I came back with a pair of red leather gloves and a pair of yellow leather gloves.
Ooh.
Silk lined, and that's what I did. I was wearing my nails long then. I put my hands, and I have long hands, thin fingers. I put my hands on the counter, and the lady looked at me, and she brought out a pair of gloves, and I tried them on. Yes. And she said, because you have long nails, I need to go up. She says, I'll go up one more size. And they fit perfectly.
Beautiful. See, that's
now I'll tell you where I got that from. Because when I worked for the company Bamberger's, I worked at the fashion. I was assistant buyer of fashion accessories, and that was my job. I went into market into New York, and I bought all the scarves, hats, gloves. I didn't do handbags. That was crazy. But handkerchiefs. I still have an assortment of handkerchiefs. Not scarves. Handkerchiefs, but when you talk status, I mean it's a lost art.
And I thank you for that, because my mother, before my late mother passed, she was working at this factory. I just remember as a kid, places that we went, my mother had leather on her pants. Then later on, that was in the 70s. And then I have some pocketbooks that she made, and they're all leather, and I can smell it because she took the colors and she did contrast. These were things. My mom passed in 84. So just think about what she did and where she would have been. And that's just one of the things that I saw. And I'm a visual person. So what I just thought about, imagine the leather gloves, because the factory smelled like leather. So I believe what she did was take the scraps, because she had belts that she made that I still have. And maybe when we do it on location.
In the 70s, that was big.
Yes.
That was big.
But I've always wondered, was my mother the first person that had leather on her pants?
No.
And if I can figure that, because if I have pictures, she was the first. I don't know. But I've always wanted to know that.
No. I hate to tell you.
No, I just want to know. I'm just saying
that was the fashion. That was a fashion thing in the 70s. Where did we go? There's an exhibit in New York about about all of New York. I can't think of what it was, but we were there at Christmas time, and there's a whole section on fashion that they dedicate to fashion in New York.
Yes.
And they cover it. Can we do
that? I don't want to talk too much. I want to do that. I wouldn't mind being on location, videoing this museum, because these are holes in my story, and I always know that's why I love clothes, and I like to layer, and that's why I have fun. And just watching different shows about someone being a stylist, and that also goes with the trophy of someone. Remember, we had a question. You said to me, if a man says you're high maintenance, that just popped up in my head. Remember you mentioned that?
Yes.
If someone says, if the person is high maintenance, run or something like that, and that goes into understanding your status and role. And that just popped up into my head because that was a lesson that we had talked about.
Yeah, because a lot of people think high maintenance, they mean that the person is wanting to have their nails done and their feet done and all of the things that do with being pampered, but they are.
But what if the female pays for themselves, Mark?
There's nothing wrong with that as a part of your general makeup and everything, but usually when people, particularly men, are talking high maintenance, they are being I won't say forced, but they are being kind of like persuaded, for lack of a better term, to pay for it. That's what they mean when they say high maintenance. So it's like they. So
then that's going to be another conversation. We're going to have to really dive into that, because they want women to clean and everything. So if you met a woman that was all put together and she's expensing herself, and then now you want her to cook dinner and everything, now she's in a negative and you still in a positive. So we need to talk about that another time, right, Madam Butterfly?
Yeah, that's a different definition of trophy.
Right. Exactly.
And if you say a woman is high maintenance, then where are your standards?
Yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. But most of the men that I know that talk about high maintenance women, it's like they are the women are oftentimes wanting the man to spend thousands of dollars,
a fortune on them.
So it's kind of like that's that trophy aspect. They're asking them to pay for
But if
it.
the woman is already a trophy in her own right, she takes care of herself. That's why we need to dive into that subject.
Did she come to you like that?
Right. If she came like that, then we need to have a discussion.
Then you realize that's what you got to maintain.
Right.
Yeah?
Maintaining it is different than high maintenance. High maintenance are those women that they don't come to you that way, and they're basically
there you go.
That's the definition of high maintenance. They don't come to you that way. They aspire to be that way, and they want you to that way.
There you go. You're right.
Yeah, we need to talk about that. I think we're going to talk about that later on.
But that's the definition of most of the men that I know that talk about their friends being high maintenance and everything like that.
Yeah, those are buy me women.
Yeah, that's what they're.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're buy me women. Everything.
Buy me women.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
But yeah, status queens. That's a good one.
No, and I think I came up with that term just because, like, I knew that my family is known here in the area because of some of their political dealings and some of the things that they have created. And so I did realize that there were some people that were approaching me or my younger brother because they thought that they were going to get some sort of status and everything like that. So that's why.
Wow. Well, thank you for your candor on that, because
and their name. I bet you they're name droppers too.
Oh, they're totally name droppers. They will go into a meeting and be like, I talked to this person or that person, but yeah, they're big time name droppers. Name dropping.
Okay. So what else you have for us, Madam Butterfly? Because I know it's a Friday night, and I know folks who are listening.
We've got a few minutes left. Let's flip to that next slide, and I'll tell you how I hit the songs. Kind of hit me, and I got a little giggle out of that.
Yeah. So did you play one of the songs? Because I didn't look at the list.
He played Papillon.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I was thinking.
So if you look at the songs, they have little letters after them. And when I was listening to the lyrics, I kind of gave them, I put them in theme song categories.
Okay.
So where you see the T, when I listened to the lyrics, I figured that they could be trophy lyrics. And if you've heard any of the lyrics, and these are kind of familiar, so the Ain't Nobody, it's kind of fast moving, and it's kind of like hit it and get it and gone kind of thing. Ooh. And the next one, I Feel For You, it's the same kind of thing.
The ones that love you.
Yeah, there you go. I'm here, I'm now, let's do this, but it's instant, you know. Then the other one, Tell Me Something Good. There again, I kind of think that sometimes when we think of the trophy person, it's the man picking the woman and making her the trophy, but it can go both ways. And that's why I put a P behind it, because I put the P for party, because it can go either way. So the woman could be the partying trophy one. So, because Tell Me Something Good, she's like, okay, I'm ready to play, I'm ready to party. So tell me something good, you know. Tell me that you like me. Tell me that you're young.
I love the analogy.
She's the aggressor in this one.
Okay.
Through the Fire. That one I took because it's kind of mellow. I'm gonna hang in here with you. I'm gonna help you get through everything. I'm gonna soothe you. I'm gonna get you through the all, right through the fire. I'm Every Woman. Mm-hmm. I got you.
I'm every woman.
Mm-hmm. I can do it all. I can bring home the bacon. I got it. Okay. Papillon we listened to. That's like trophy, hot, you know, in, out, quick, boom. And then Love Me Still. This, I have it as a trophy. I have the R there because I said it could be reversed. To me, this is, if you ever watched any of the Alex Cross movies on, I think it's on Netflix, this is a song where it's a returning love. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the lyrics go something like you're the only one who's seen all of me, my deepness, my scars and everything. You know, you love me then, do you love me still?
Right.
So
and I like that you say that, because sometimes women, you know, I was sitting here talking to someone, do men see us as toys? Because regardless, men have the upper hand. And I think that sometimes with women, I know for me in my dating practices, you know, my dad says when something is old, it's burnt and stinking. And for me as a woman, say, oh, you're so attractive. But sometimes we're misunderstood where you're over something and people feel like you're connected. And I guess I'm a healer. And normally what I'll do is, you know, for friends from the beginning, I want to maintain the friendship. But some people say you have to block folks. I said, who does that? I think that's immature. But my dad always says to me, time is up. He'll say to me, Toya, time is up. And a lot of times I'll be dating someone and mostly my parents don't like him and my dog don't like him either. What do you do with that? And sometimes they say, well, we already knew something. Right. Yeah. But I guess that sometimes if
your dog don't like him, it's time. It's time.
But, you know, but you want to be a positive person. So I think that for myself, I'm going to speak for the women who are believers and Christians. And, you know, we're supposed to be Christ-like. So that means that if I'm over someone, but don't play in my face. And when I was talking to an individual, she said, but some men do that. And I said, well, you know, that means it's the ego. But if you're over 40, like, come on. But now I'm just going to speak to the listeners. Women now, you have to beware. Some men get a rise out of that. And that's why I guess, you know, you want to know your status. And if I know my status, don't play with me. I know what it is.
But you
don't play me like I'm a toy. My name is Toya, but I'm not a toy.
But you can only control yourself. You can't be accountable for any other adult. It has nothing to do with your faith, your Christianity, or anything like that. You can only when you go before your mighty maker, you are only going to count for yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
He ain't going to ask you about nobody else. You know, but Lord, so-and-so was remember so-and-so, he was not nice to me. No. It's not going to go down like that.
Right.
So you have to account for yourself. This isn't working for me. We can't go on like this. We can be friends, and that's where it's going to be. That's the boundary.
But you know what I normally do? I'll say something with options. I think that, Mark, I don't know if you can talk because you're single as well. You know, one of the things is like, you know, you like somebody. I say I put them on the shelf. And now I'm thinking now, did I put them as a trophy? They sat on the shelf. I said, oh, that was a good option. They're going to sit on the shelf in the glass, right? They're going to sit in the glass on the shelf. So I say to myself, I break this glass and I talk to you. So my cousin said, you can't do that. You need to block people.
Can't do that.
I'm like, I think blocking someone is immature. This is just how I'm thinking. But it says sometimes you have to block people because people think they can still have access. So I don't know what to say about that one. But I want to be mature.
No, I don't understand, but it's not blocking, okay? When you say blocking, I'm thinking.
No, people say you can physically block someone so they can't call or text you or something.
Like block them on phone or
you can do that, but you know, if you have to do that and that helps you, yes. But what you do as an adult, you make up your mind that you're not having a relationship with this person.
Yeah, of course.
Except
but people take narratives like that, and then they'll switch. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, oh, I'm being mean. No, it's okay.
You're not being mean.
I want you to be happy. I want everybody to be happy. You know, I'm just not your choice. But some people make it into this game that it doesn't need to be. My dad said it's burnt and stinking. And I used to say this thing: if you have something that wants to leave, set it free. Yeah, if it comes back to you, it's yours. If it doesn't, it's meant to be. But nowadays, the dating is different now. It's a lot of egos. Remember, Beyonce was his ego.
There's a lot of ego, and it even comes down to a saying, and you kind of alluded to it and everything like that. But I know in talking to my fellow guy friends and everything like that, they will put out that stereotype that exists and everything like that. And it is definitely a stereotype because I don't necessarily believe it and everything like that. But you were saying that the men have the upper hand. Most of my friends will tell you that women have the upper hand because
you're in the South, sir. You're in the South. It's different from the North. You're in the South.
That are that y'all can control whether you get it or not and everything like that. So that's why a lot of
the Mason-Dixon's line, Madam Butterfly, but in the South is different from the North. That's why a lot of Northern women go down South and they end up getting married. I'm serious. I've heard a lot of folks, they move down South, they find them a country boy, and that's it.
But that's just it's still
the people I know.
But they know what they want. That's the whole thing. You have to know who you are and what you want. Right. And I think, and that's the bottom line. Who you want, what you want, who you are, and what you want. And if you don't know, then there are all these other things creep into it. Mm-hmm. Once I decided, I had somebody who was like, I thought he was the greatest thing, and he was, like you said, playing. I said, no, I can't, I won't. And I'm not. Mm-hmm. And it was the end of it. And he realized that was my truth. And when he realized that, you know what he did? He got married, but he did the respectful thing. He called me. I said, hi, how you doing? He said, I have to tell you something. I said, what? He said,
really? Now that's the man. That's the man he called.
Yeah, he said, I'm getting married. I said, yeah, okay. Congratulations. I said, when? He said, tomorrow. I said, good. Little did he know.
He had to clear it off.
Wait a minute. Little did he know I was getting married 3 months later.
You were?
Yeah.
Oh, it was you. I misheard. Wow.
But he called me and told me that he was getting married. But I had, like you said, I had put him on the shelf. I was done. I mean, we
But
were,
one of the things that
yeah.
I mentioned to Toya before and everything like that, I'm hearing a lot of young women, particularly those that are, let's say, under 35 and either under 40, maybe even some of the 50s, but definitely under 40, that are telling me that they are frustrated by their peer group. And there is a lot of them that are going after older men, some even going after men.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, then that's what's happening to my dating pool. That's what
Yes.
happened. They're taking
Yes.
all the. There you go.
Yes.
Yep, there it
For a
is. If
number,
they're going,
well,
they're taking from my dating pool.
I told Toya, I said, one, older, two,
a widow.
widow, a widower. One, you don't have the only a widower. You don't have the baggage of an ex,
Right.
and you may have baggage of children and grandchildren. Grandchildren usually not baggage, but
No.
children.
I would embrace that. I'm waiting to be a grandma.
Madam Butterfly, you say that, but I know some widows in my life, and even some
yeah, I know some
that
too.
are still. I mean, they've been gone. I know for a fact one of our founders of Pod TV, her husband been gone for 2 or 3 years, but she still is very much attached to that memory. So you say that there's no package, but there are some.
That was her forever love. Then that's how my God loved me. That's a forever love.
They still have that memory baggage. So I can't say that widows don't have baggage, because you might have that. You might have that memory baggage.
But then but she don't want to be on market. That's just if someone was interested. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's what it is. We're talking about interested folks who want to put themselves in the dating market.
No, but I'm saying even some of the widows I know,
some of them
they want to be on the market, but then they are still comparing whoever they want in the market.
That means they're not over that grief. And sometimes, grief is 5 stages that we've talked about. It. I know for me, I had to grieve my old job. I had to grieve losses of things. So it does not matter. It's not always someone getting their wings. So that means that she probably is not over that. She probably hasn't done the anger phase. Because sometimes you have to be angry. And I wasn't angry with God until I heard episode on the couch. I never wanted to be mad about losing some people.
Because I want to say that at least not just this one, but a couple of the widows I know, they married their husbands when they were like teenagers in high school. So they had with this
don't know anyone else.
They don't know anybody else.
Yeah.
So
nobody else.
Right.
So that's hard. That's hard.
Yep. The one and only love.
Right.
But I'm so thankful for this conversation. And, Dr. Diamond, I know she's preparing for her event and, she'll be back. But I really want to revisit this again, because right now that's what we're looking at for folks now that need healing. Just for me reading the notes and stuff in my capacity in my full-time job, and that's why today I talked about the 4 agreements. That's really what we want you guys to work on, because here this challenge is about healing. Be impeccable with your word. Speak with integrity. Say only what you mean. Avoid using the word to speak against yourself, to gossip about others. Use the powers of your word in the direction of truth and love. And that's what we're speaking about. If you're ready to be in a relationship, your word. I grew up, my father was who he was. Y'all met him. Listen to the episode. It was your word is your bond.
Yeah, your word is your bond.
That's what we spoke about. Your word meant something. So when I have a hard exterior, people don't understand me. No, you have to have that. And I also posted this week was respect isn't just about how you treat others. It's about how you treat yourself. When you honor your own worth, you're naturally inspire respect from those around you. And that's what we're saying. If you're going to love, as Madam Butterfly said, you're going to be judged one day. If you're a believer and you believe that, somebody put us here. And the only thing we were trying to work is be still and know. And in this platform, that's all. We're just giving you tools. And we're so grateful for Madam Butterfly when she breezes in. And you have to think, she raised monarch butterflies. So I think she watched it. There was a video I saw the other day I'm going to post this week. Yeah. But when you see the process of the chrysalis and how everything turns, there was a video that I had and it went really fast. And that's basically what we're going through is symbolism. In life, there's symbolism. We're nature. If you think about, because I'm a geek in my own right, when you think about a molecule, and the molecule is there, when you think about a relationship, let's do the parallel at the beginning. As you said, it just happens. You meet someone, you just happen. And that's the other lesson of Jade. But if you think about everything that we're providing for you are tools for growth and becoming. This is what it is. We don't have any big mamas, but we're gonna be like a big mama. the big mama would have been sitting there saying something to you. Oh, I don't know. I like that person. They call me baby Toya. I don't know about all that. My dad said, time is up. So I laughed because back then they didn't have all the words. So I laughed now. All the little anecdotals, I'm finally finding the parallel to it. Isn't that interesting? You know how
child, don't bring that boy back here no more.
Yeah, don't bring that boy down here.
The boys, because I know that I still get a flack for a young lady that I brought to the family. And this was probably 15, 20, 30 years ago and everything. Because she was,
they still, well, she must have been a doozy or something, Mark.
Yeah, she was busy crocheting and everything. And I had a great uncle that used to make homemade hooch. So when the homemade hooch came out, she stopped doing crocheting and everything and decided to get involved in the family outing. But for most of the time of her visit, she was being aloof, for lack of a better term, and everything like that. And she was a out-of-state relationship, because I believe she was out of Texas and everything like that. But yeah, she was being aloof most of the visit until the homemade hooch came out.
Oh, and she got in the hooch, huh?
She got it. Once she got in the hooch, then she became Miss Friendly.
Yes. But thank you so much. And, as you know, I'm going to continue to introduce the 4 agreements. For anyone listening to the playback, listen to that, because sometimes I have to listen to different things so that I can become, so that I can understand. Because sometimes I do miss the big mamas, and I still remember Shell and Peas just listening to the old folks in their conversations. Imagine if we were watered in the same way. So if anyone has a big mama, sit and have some time, learn the recipe. They will sit and talk to you, enlighten you. As you know, you can always put some comments and things like that, because, we're going to be on location too next week. But, before we get into the closing words. But thank you again, Madam Butterfly, for our lesson number 2, defining relationship choices. This is something that it's going to be a constant inventory for yourself, knowing where you are, if you need to heal, and all that. But before we get into that, closing out, does anyone else have anything to say before I get into, what I have to say?
Go for it.
I'm good.
Mark, you got anything?
I'm good until we get to the closing remarks.
Okay. So I guess go into closing remarks. Mark, you're going to be up first today.
Okay, since I'll be up first and everything like that, there is a event that actually be taking place on your birthday. So this was not necessarily a closing remark about what we're talking about, but definitely entrepreneurs as an important part of our life structure and everything like that. So actually on your birthday, August 8th, the Cultural Arts Center that I work at, that sometimes I'm recording from, will be holding a business expo. So the Haiti Expo takes place on August 8th. So if you're not doing anything on the 8th on your birthday, you can come down here and celebrate with me. And I think we're going to have 75 vendors, and a lot of them will be businesses and everything like that. So there'll be vendors on your birthday, August 8th. I think it starts at 11 o'clock and runs till
Please share a flyer so we can post it on the page. You can post it for anybody that's in the North Carolina area.
Yep, North Carolina, Virginia, because Virginia isn't that far from us, or even South Carolina. But yeah, I'll definitely post it, and anybody that's in the area that wants to check it out. It's a group that is women-owned called Cocoa Drip that is teamed up with us and everything like that. And I checked with them. They said they had 75 vendors. It might even be up to 80 by the time that we do the event on the 8th, a week from Saturday. And last thing but not least, definitely, I know they're in Jersey. I know here in North Carolina, it's been a little bit on the warm side. I think we were in the 90s. There were a couple of days that we were in the 100s. We've been facing droughts, even though we did have some rain not that long ago and everything like that. So if you're out and about, please protect yourself. Stay hydrated. Don't go out if it's overly hot and everything like that. So take care of ourselves, because one of the things that we talk about on this show is taking care of ourselves emotionally, but we also have to take care of ourselves physically as well. So definitely take time to do that, because I'm one of those people that believes in us being spiritually healed, emotionally healed, mentally healed, and yes, even physically healed as well. And all of that has to do with what this show is all about. So go on the spiritual journey, which is part of what this show is about, but also if you're out and about and it's hot, be sure that you're hydrated.
Yes, thank you. And Madam Butterfly, the women of the hour, who always says she's going to sharpen us. So what you have today for your closing words on this lesson number 2, defining relationship choices?
Know yourself and know what you want, and then go after it. That's all I have to say. And take your time. Don't be afraid to be alone either. Sometimes that's the best relationship you can have. Don't be afraid to be alone. Just because everybody else has a partner of some sort, don't be afraid to be alone. Take yourself to dinner. Take yourself to a movie. The solitude is enlightening. It's refreshing. There are a lot of things that you could do alone that could be a lot of fun. Go learn how to cook. Sir Latava does cooking lessons, and there's so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
Try it. Try doing something by yourself. Pour into yourself. Spend that time with you. And then you can really spend some time with someone else.
Thank you so much for this lesson. And it's ironic that today for my Be Still and Know book, as you know, I always like to share it. It says real love for July the 31st. I'm just going to read the first paragraph. It says authenticity. It matters, doesn't it? We wonder if the gem, the handbag, the promise is real. We'll all heard the expression. If it's too good to be true, it's probably not. So we scrutinize the people and possessions in our lives, looking for authenticity. What great comfort we take in our God, the one true God. All of his promises are true. All of his gifts are good. His love is authentic, and it is ours to claim. So basically what we're saying is love was given to us. So it should not be used in inadequate ways. So here today, know yourself. And as you figure it out, one of the things that I know that I don't want to be scared of love. I took my inventory. I'm looking at what's there. And today, this lesson is for you. So you can do the same and understand that. Continue to be a light. Stay in the light. And when you walk through this journey to become, if it's meant for you, it'll find you and it will stay. Thank you. But before I go, we have Tony McBride. Just want to put a commercial for her. The Butterfly Room will be on location next Thursday, August the 6th at Tipple and Rose present an evening with romance with author Tony McBride. She is the author of That's Lovely. For anyone that's listening, you can register to do that. It's $30. And it is going to open doors at 6 p.m. And she's going to read some passages for her book. So we would love to support her. So for anyone that's listening, please support our sister. And thank you, everyone, for coming in today. We wish you well. And guess what? It's Leo season. And even though I won't be here, my birthday's next week. And I'm just excited about opening this new chapter. And thank you again for visiting us on the Butterfly Room. As customarily, we're going to have a song. And we'll see you in 2 weeks. All right. Ta-ta.
You glow different when you finally choose yourself. You glow different when you love yourself. Walk different when you know your worth. Can't nobody dim your light no more. You survive way too much hurt. Hold your head high, don't look down. You made it through what broke others. Ain't no shame in your glow up. Baby, you glow different now. I used to question everything about me. Used to let opinions control how I see me. Till I realized people only project what they secretly feel about themselves. Now I move with peace in my spirit. I don't beg for love, I attract it. I stopped shrinking myself for comfort and started living like I matter. Growth make people uncomfortable, especially when they knew to owe you. But never feel guilty for healing. You deserve every version you grow into. Every scar taught you strength. Every loss taught you wisdom. Look how far you came. Don't forget to give yourself credit. You glow different when you love yourself. Walk different when you know your worth. Can't nobody dim your light no more. You survive way too much hurt. Speak life into yourself daily. Stop apologizing for evolving. The strongest thing you ever did was keep going while life kept testing. And look at you now, still standing, still soft, still beautiful somehow. After everything that tried to break you, you still found your smile again. That's power. You are enough. You are worthy. You are healing. You are growing, and nobody can take that from you. You glow different when you love yourself. Walk different when you know your worth. Can't nobody dim your light no more. You survive way too much hurt. Hold your head high, don't look down. You made it through what broke others. No shame in your glow up. Baby, you glow different now.